Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Andy with Living the Brown Life, and I have a booth at the Women's Expo this year, and I want to take you with me. So come on and see what I've done. From the mall, and I have the cute little jars that I picked up, and I got these really for the expo, but we are going to use them to keep our solutions and things like that on display and in a really cute way. So here they are. So this is the detox, and I got these jars at Hobby Lobby, and then like I said before, I just took them into the mall here locally, and they put on all of the lettering for me, which, like I said before, I could have done this with my Cricut, but you know, I'm a mom of twins and I have two businesses and I'm very busy all the time, so it's just easy sometimes if I get a little help. So these I got at Hobby Lobby. They are $5.99. They were the spring shop, and so I did get them at a discount. You know how they always have the discount. I think I got them 40% off, which I'll end up taking those little tags off the bottom. But these were actually small size, I believe. They could have been the medium, but I don't think so. Alright, so I went into Walmart and I got just some basic things. I got some sponge brushes, which you can get these at Dollar Tree, but I didn't want to make the extra stop, so I just went into Walmart and got these. I also have on hand some pretty wide painter's tape, which you can see that I have paint on it. I also got the Waverly matte finish. This is just in white. And then I also got the Waverly matte finish, and this is called ink, which is black. And then I also, from the party section over in the Celebrate area, I got this bowl, and I am going to paint it. I could have got something like this at Dollar Tree, but honestly, they didn't have. Now they do have one that kind of has where it's kind of pinched together around, if you know what I'm talking about. I didn't really want that look for the expo, so there's nothing wrong with that though. You could have got it. I could have went and got it, and it could have been cheaper, but I'm going to use this one instead. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off first, and I'm going to do stripes. So I just take the sticker off of the bottom of the bowl. Sometimes those are kind of hard to get off. If you heat it up with a hair dryer or a heat gun, sometimes that helps out. I started to place the tape to the top of the bowl, and I got too long of a piece because the bowl was round and not as straight. It's kind of wider at the mouth of the bowl. I decided to just do it in smaller sections that it would be easier to manage. So I'm just placing the tape around the edge. I decided that I was going to just do this stuff all at the salon, since this was for the Women's Expo for the salon. So you can see in the background I'm at the salon. You never know what you're gonna see at my salon. Which usually I'm not in there doing crafts, but so I just slowly just worked my way around the bowl. It was a little time consuming just because I wanted it to be pretty darn straight. Now I will say it was not perfect, and that was okay because that part gets covered up anyway. And so I just did my best to get it on there as straight as I could, but I wasn't stressing out about it just because I was covering it up. All right, so this was the last piece that I put on the bowl, and I just, like I said, I just did it the best that I could. Now this is the Waverly ink. It's the chalk paint, and it sticks very nicely to this bowl. I did end up doing 2 coats of the ink. I wanted to make sure that the bottom was really covered, because when you look down into the bowl, you can see the bottom. You can see through the bowl. So I really wanted to make sure that it was completely covered, because it kind of makes it look like a shiny glass look, which you can see as I'm holding it up. But I did go over this 2 times. I also did this project throughout the day. You can see in the door behind me that there's sun's up now, but when I finish this, the sun will be down. It's pretty late at night in the dark. But I had some errands to run. I had to run to like Office Depot and some places just to pick up some prints that I had done for the salon. So anyway, so I painted it, and then I just sat it down and let it dry, and then I came back and I painted it off camera a second coat. You can see that I am just freehanding this straight line. I'm getting it as straight as I possibly can. Now you can see here, this is just with 1 coat, and see how you can see through it still. So I made sure that I went over it again. The second coat of the ink has been done. You can see now that it is a solid black. And then I just started going over the middle part with the white Waverly chalk paint. And I just butted it up to the black, just as straight as I could without covering up the black. I just love the contrast of the black and the white. I think it looks so good together. And whenever you decorate with black and white, you can use pops of color. I like to use, depending on where it is, but my 2 favorite colors that I like to use are red and pink. Do you have some favorite colors that you like to accent things with? I did come in and do a second coat of the white, and then I was wanting to do the top part. So I was at the hair salon, so I grabbed my blow dryer and started drying the paint so I could get busy on the top part. And then once the paint is all dry, I started peeling off the tape, which was a little bit harder than normal because the top part kept getting stuck. I mean, it was hard, but it wasn't as easy as usually, you know, whenever you're taking off the blue painter's tape, it usually just comes right off. But I think because of all of the lip and all the stuff on there, that it was kind of hard to get off. It was sticking easier than it normally does, and it could have been too because it was on that hard plastic. But I eventually got it all off, and it looked exactly how I had wanted it to look, which is always a plus. All right, now that that's all finished, I got out my hot glue gun, and this, I don't know if you've ever used this glue. It's instead of the little sticks, it comes in a big roll,
if I'm ever doing a project, that is what I want to use, because it doesn't run out as fast. So I'm not like changing out sticks all the time. So these are those little dazzlers over in the floral area at Hobby Lobby. They are just under $6 per bag. They do have two sizes. They have a larger size and a smaller size. And on the bowl, I am adding in the larger sizes as my base. And these are really kind of cool because the way that they're shaped, they're all shaped the exact same, but they have like a rounded part, they have square parts. I was taking the longest pointed part and hot gluing that part to the bowl. I just kept going around and around and just gluing, just gluing and gluing. It was kind of a, I mean, this is kind of a project. You can see here I started putting the glue on the bowl because I was just trying to figure out which way was faster. Should I put the glue on each piece and then apply it, or should I put the glue on the bowl and then apply the pieces? I found that it was just simpler to add the glue to each piece before I stuck it on. I wasn't wasting as much glue that way also. I was so happy with the way this turned out to be so easy. You know, I saw a girl on Pinterest, which is where I got this idea from. She did this on a large bowl, which I want to do like a flower vase, but it's a large bowl, almost like a fish bowl, but it's really big. And while I was watching her do it, I really couldn't figure out what the crystal pieces were that she used, and you know, it was just kind of harder to see what she was doing. So I thought, this is either going to turn out really good or it's not. And thankfully it was not as hard as I had anticipated it being, so that's always a plus. As I was putting on the larger pieces, there would be little holes between the larger pieces every once in a while. For the most part, I got them all butted up together, but there was some little pieces that you could see through to the bowl, and so I would take the smaller pieces and I would just hot glue those right on top of that hole, and you wouldn't be able to see it that way. I will say this did take me a little while to get this project done. You can see I brought in the tape because I wanted to see on the underside of where the line was, where the crystals and the white line were going to meet, because I didn't want that white line to be exposed. So I wanted to see underneath. I will tell you though, I couldn't, at the salon I had nothing that I could have used. If I were to, at home or, you know, in my little craft area, I would have taken a tumbler or something, anything, a paint can, and I think I would have taken the bowl and set it upside down on that. That's what I kept trying to find, but I never could find anything that was tall enough to go in the bowl and hold it up. That way I could see that bottom line and work just easier, simpler that way. I just love the way these little pieces reflect the light. They almost look like ice, but they look like crystal. It looks so pretty. I am so happy with the way it turned out. I am just in awe of it. I will say, when I had all the crystals on half of it, it was very heavy on one side, and I kept finding my bowl wanting to fall over, but once I got it on the other side too, it was all good. I had so much hot glue string on me and on the table and on my fingernails. I felt like I had been in a haunted house and I had spider webs all over me or something. It was it was kind of a mess, but it was well worth it. You can see right here is one of those little holes. You see where I pointed at, and that is how I filled it in. I just took a smaller piece and just covered it right on up, and you'll never know it was there. I did also want the top part not to be so solid, so you can kind of see on the other side of the bowl that I went above the ring because I wanted it not to be straight. So, and you know, people can see down in there that it is glass or that it is plastic, which in this case it is plastic, but I just wanted it not to be seen. I'm just still working my way around. It is it is a little bit of a tedious job, but I just keep on working away. I will tell you that I do have a high temperature glue gun. I like high temperature better than the low temperature. I find myself grabbing that one more just because I don't know, I just feel like the glue, it just stays better. I don't know, it could be in my head, but anyway, I always go for the high heat glue gun, and when I do, I always burn myself. I didn't end up with any blisters so far anyway. I do have 2 other projects that I'm going to use these little crystal beads on, so we'll see. Hopefully I don't end up with any blisters, but but we're not finished yet. I just kind of go back, like I'm moving forward, but I also go back and I just kind of look to make sure there's no holes, there's no places that look empty, and if there is, then I just fill it in with either a small or a larger size, depending on where it's at and what it needed. I did end up using 1.5 bags to do this top part here of the bigger pieces. If I were doing the smaller ones, I probably could have just used 1 bag, but because I was using mostly larger pieces, there wasn't as many large pieces as there was small pieces, so I ended up using a half of another bag. When I was putting the pieces on, as you can see here, if it wasn't really on the bowl, I would take the glue gun and I would just squeeze it underneath the piece so that it would really be secure to the bowl. You know, you could use some E6000 also with the glue gun, hot glue gun, if you wanted to, but to be honest with you, I think that the hot glue gun really kind of bonds these 2 pieces together. I think because they're both plastic, it just really is secure. So you could use the E6000 for an extra bond, but I don't think that it's something that's necessary in this case. We are finally in the home stretch. We just have a few little pieces left to put on, and then this baby is finished. I cannot believe how pretty it is. I cannot wait to use it at the expo. I think all of the ladies are going to be, you know, excited to see it, and I can't wait to see the response I get from just, you know, people walking up, and because I know if I were to be walking up to a table that had this bowl sitting on it, I would say, oh my gosh, where did you get this from? So I can't wait to see the response. I'm just doing a quick turnaround just to make sure that there are no pieces that I missed. And here it is. It is all completed, and I am so happy. It is so pretty. I could not be happier with it.
So I am back at the salon. This is day 2 of projects. I got this frame at Dollar Tree, which it's kind of beat up and banged up, which I didn't see that whenever it was in the package, or I probably would have picked a different one. But I put inside this little enter to win a free body wrap of your choice. And this is going to go next to the bowl that I bedazzled last night. So I am actually going to use, if you see here, here's a small one and here's a big one. You can see, and you can see my phone in the mirror, but hey, you can see the size difference here in the bigger and the smaller. I'm gonna use the small ones on this frame today, so it's gonna end up being so cute. I cannot wait. So I wasn't really sure how to tackle this frame, so like everything I do, I started doing dots on the glass itself, and then I decided I would just go through and make lines and go that way. And I'm sorry, I have the glue gun right in the way. I did not know that my hand was there, I guess. I don't know. I was really in the moment. But I will tell you that this kind of went a lot smoother than it did yesterday. I think because it was just flat, and you know, I don't know, it was just different. This is that roll of hot glue that I was telling you about, but I ended up having to use a whole nother roll, which is 5 feet long, just in case you're wondering. But I went through, I did the first row around the mat inside of the picture frame, and then afterwards I could still kind of see the mat, so I went through and I just touched it up, and you can see I'm showing you here all the hot glue. It's like spider webs everywhere, so it is a little messy. I think this is how those Halloween spider web throwers were created. Somebody said, hey, this looks like spider webs. I did end up going through and putting the bigger pieces around the edge. I did kind of goof a little bit because it does not sit flat now, which is fine. I will just make sure that it is to where nobody can touch it so it won't fall over. Oh my goodness, it is so pretty. But you can see I'm kind of showing you here where there's some places that need just an extra piece, so the only way to really tell is just to kind of stand it up and look at it. So I went back through and I added a few of the smaller bedazzled pieces, and I knocked it over because it is heavy. So I think I'm going to actually add a piece of wood or something to the leg and then attach it somehow to the frame just to make sure it doesn't fall over. But it is top heavy for sure. But like I said, I'm just going in and filling in the holes just to make it perfect. I was taking it and flipping it, upside down and just different ways to kind of see if there were any holes because, everybody is different heights. And so some people who are really tall are going to see things down on the table that somebody who is shorter would not see. So I just wanted to make sure there was no open spaces. I did kind of think maybe going around the outside edge, but then I realized that would not be a good idea because I could not do the bottom, and I think it looks good with just the silver around the edge. But I did want to make sure that the corners on the front were completely covered, and so I was going through and just adding a small little one underneath the bigger ones. But I think it looks great. I am officially obsessed with these little pieces. They reflect the light like no other, and I think that whenever we are doing little things, little touches around our new home, I think I'm going to use these little babies to just make things over the top and a little, edgy. So I just love them. I think it looks so good. It turned out to be perfect. All right, and on to the next one. I got this clear glass vase at Walmart for, I think it was just under $3, but I'm going in and I'm adding in the leftover small pieces. In here, I'm actually going to put pins in it so people can fill out little forms to enter into the drawing. I think this was very cute. Plus it holds our pins up and it matches. I think this is adorable. And here is the complete set. What do you think? I love it. I can't wait. I think it is so pretty. I am going to trade the blue pins out for black ones. I was so shocked when I found this little candy jar misplaced at Dollar Tree. I was so excited. I went online and looked for these and I found them anywhere from 11 to 20 bucks, and I got it for $1 at Dollar Tree. I did add the little bedazzler jewels that I've been using on everything as a handle, so it goes with everything else. I can't wait to fill this with candy to put on the table. Here's my honey. He helped me cut a PVC pipe 8 feet long. I took some Dollar Tree tablecloths and made my backdrop to match my striped wall at the salon. It is so cute. I love it, and it totally matches our salon and feel and vibe and all the things. I got 5 of the foam black boards from Dollar Tree. I had no idea really going into it how I was going to do what I wanted to do. But like everything, I just started somewhere, and so I just kind of was laying them out like, how am I going to do this? And then I kind of got it in my head what I wanted to do. I first started off by peeling off these stickers, which by the way are really easy to get off of there. And I just continued to peel them off, and I will say I was a little bit disappointed because my sign did not end up being as big as I wanted it to be, just because I could not find any more of the garland that I had used. And so anyway, it wasn't as big as I wanted it to be. The tools I used was these scissors from Dollar Tree. I also got the darkest duct tape that they had at Dollar Tree, which ended up being purple because my boards were black, so I wanted it to match.
When I was going back through this, I cracked up when I saw myself just toss the trash on the chair. When I do a craft of any kind, the floor, the table, everything around me is a disaster. It looks like a 2-year-old was in there just going through and tearing everything up. But so then I get to clean it all up. But that made me giggle when I saw that. When I am putting things together, a trick that I do is I'll line it up, and then I will take the tape and I will let it like kind of bow down. In the very middle of the tape, I'll touch it so it will stick, and then I can line it up perfectly instead of trying to work from like one end down or whatever. Then it won't be sideways or off because I like things to be super straight. You can see I'm kind of having a hard time here getting the two boards to really stay together. They were cut kind of at an angle instead of straight down, so I was having a little bit of a rough time getting these two to really line up good, but I eventually just squeezed them together, and then I just took my tape and taped all the way around them. I didn't really know what to do here other than just to tape it together as best as I could because I wanted it to be really sturdy. So I did the front and the back and just everywhere that there was a line. Now I took the other board, the fifth board that I had, and I am just cutting pieces because this is actually where I'm going to put my logo, and I don't want it to be flush, so I want it to stand up. So I took these pieces and I just hot glued them all together. I just did a rough cut on these because they are not visible, and so I just hurried along and cut them up so that I could get this project done. I have a lot more to get ready and done before the expo starts. So I just finish up by hot gluing them all together, and then I hot glued it right in the middle of my board. I then took this spray adhesive and I sprayed a white board that I had got from Walmart because I wanted the trifold. I wanted a bigger one, and so they do not carry those at Dollar Tree, so I had to go to Walmart to get it. But I just sprayed it down and stuck it down to the board. Look at how cute this garland is. Oh my goodness, it is so shiny and sparkly. It's all the things that I love. I put this on the board, and you can see in the middle where I have that the foam where it's standing up so I can put my logo. And I just took my logo, and I actually ended up using an X-Acto knife, which I don't know if you can see because it is on speed mode, but I was a little nervous using the X-Acto knife because I'm very careful, but I will cut myself. And so I was really nervous because that thing is sharp. So be careful. So I got that all cut out, and then I did take some duct tape across the back because the two sides that were where it folded from it being the trifold, I did want it to stay flush and flat, so I did take some of the duct tape and I just duct taped it across so that it all would stand and be solid. I then came in with my handy dandy hot glue gun, and I glued that foam piece that we did in the middle to stand higher, and I just put as much hot glue down that would come out. And then I took my logo and I just stuck it to the middle. This turned out to be super cute. I love it. It is glitz and glam and all the things that I just love and adore. So I could not have ended up being more happy with this. I think it turned out perfect. I asked Randy to help me out by cutting a PVC. We cut it down to 8 feet long because that is how wide the booth is.
And I actually took some Dollar Tree tablecloths and hung it up to match our striped wall at the salon. It turned out so cute. The time has finally come. I have the car all organized and packed and ready to go. I'm here and it is time to get this thing going. I was kind of setting up and playing and just seeing how I wanted things to look and be, and I liked the table. I had a kind of hard time with the background for a little while, but I finally got it finished and the look that I wanted it to have. I hope that I've given you some ideas for your booth and for your craft projects. If you enjoyed this time with me, go and like this video. I'd really appreciate it. See you next time.